What's going on? So what we're going to do today is dive into a case study. If you don't know who I am, my name is Megan. I am the CEO and founder of Valkyrie Fitness and Nutrition. Who we typically work with are women shift workers. So who I'm going to be talking to today is a nurse, and we typically work with those. We work with doctors. We work with EMS. We've worked with fire, military, law enforcement. So for us, we are very, very good at helping women who are working 12 plus hour days. So what I'm going to dive in today is how this nurse is already down just about 50, almost 15 pounds in, the past couple of weeks she's been working with us. So literally killing it. So we're going to go and walk through what she's doing. But first and foremost, I'm going to kind of go over where she started out at, right? So she is height 5'1", and she's 47. So her current weight, she started at 172. Her goal, ideally, would be somewhere between 130 and 140. And then for her, she wants to lose weight, just, feel better overall, and just kind of do things that are going to help her with the profession. Another thing she mentioned is right below her why. So either when people are getting on calls with us or consultations, it's either myself or my other team member, Janine. And this client here said, she's in that oh shit phase of her life where she wants to be healthier and stronger as she ages. She wants clothes to fit her better and maybe get down to a medium again, right? In her size 8 to 10 pants. She wants to look at pictures and see a person she can be proud of because she did the work, right? She wants to feel better and doesn't want to feel weak, especially as we get older as women, right? We don't want to age and, not have that strength. So just getting in a really good place. What we also notice with a lot of women that do come in is they're not fueling their body properly. So teaching people how to actually eat for their shifts is incredibly important because if you're under eating consistently for your 12-hour shift, it will have an effect, right, on your strength, on your body composition, how your energy levels are, and it just adds up over time. So the longer you're in these professions, right, remember, for the most part, a lot of us are in the professions for 30-something years, so you don't want to feel worse every single year that goes by, especially if you're working night shift or you're pulling in a bunch of overtime. You just want to make sure you feel really good overall. So she wants to see muscle definition. Things to know, which is really important for us, is she will do exactly what we say and we'll implement it. And clearly it's working because this is the number one thing we tell people is that you will reach your goals if you listen to what we tell you. So clearly she's on the move. This was all, let's see, I think she started, I want to just double check this. Hold on. Yeah, so it's not a month that she lost all this weight, obviously. She started in our old software and we just moved to a new software, so I just wanted to pull up her other information. So she is walking into, I believe, week 11 right now. And she will be in the program for 18 weeks, which is great to see, right? She has a ton of time left. So you can imagine that in a few short weeks, she's already down, like I said, 14 pounds. At the same time, she will probably lose another 10 plus pounds by the time she gets done. At the end of this, she more likely than not will be pretty darn close to that 140 range. And remember, she came in at 172, and what we're doing is nothing crazy. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of an idea on how her programming looks. So with our coaches, what we're consistently doing is, I'm just seeing something pop up, is they are tweaking, changing, adjusting their plans, right? So she's working out roughly 3 to 4 times per week, typically under an hour, right? So not doing anything crazy. Majority of her program is got about 6 movements in there, all right? So 4 times a week, main focus, fat loss, just feeling better overall. And let's dive into nutrition a bit. So let's pull that up. So here we can basically see what clients are doing in terms of their adherence, how they're doing things. Again, she came from our old software here to our new one. So for us, what we're doing is we're kind of pinpointing and figuring out hey, what are they essentially adhering to? Where are their calories? Where are their targets typically? And then just slowly increasing over time, right? So for her, it's just getting an idea on where her averages have been, where she's at. Now, our clients are never perfect, right? And that's a big part of what I want to kind of go over with you guys. Perfection is like, it's just not what you're gonna see results with at the end of the day. So perfection is not like, not really something we look for. We care more about the consistency of things. So when clients are coming in, what's happening in the past, right? A lot of times what people are doing is they're going all in on themselves and then they're just getting burned out. So they fall off relatively quick. Our goal here is to make sure like what our clients are doing is something they can sustain. We're monitoring things. We're showing them where to like tweak, change, adjust, answer any questions. But at the same time, ensuring that what they're doing is working. So that way we can ensure like we're tweaking and moving things around to prevent any plateaus, right? So when most people come in to a coaching program, like she said, I will do exactly what you implement and do it immediately. That's what she's doing, right? That's why she's getting results. So only being 11 weeks in, she pretty much is on the correct path to dropping somewhere close to 30 pounds by the time she gets done. So our job as coaches is to watch what they are doing, what they need to keep doing the correct way, right? If they don't see like the scale drop or anything like that, but you can kind of see like hers has been pretty consistent. We want to make sure like ultimately they're doing all the right things. Our job as coaches is to prevent these clients from ever having like issues or guessing. Like no one needs to guess, right, in our program, because we're going to tell them exactly what needs to be changed in order for them to be successful. But always requires data on our end, right? So data is the biggest mover, right, as we can kind of put it. Because at the end of the day, if we can review something, we can see the data behind it, we 100% know if something is working or isn't. Now, if there is no data, right, you can see that client has been like, she's been tracking her food, she's been getting her workouts in, she's been checking things off, she's been communicating to Coach Lisa, who she's under. For us, like, it's very easy to see why things are working the correct way, right? So if you ever did a program where you started something and just haven't been consistent, that's probably the reason why you didn't see the results you were looking for, or probably why it maybe took a lot longer for you to, actually see maybe the movement in the scale or the way your clothes have been fitting, because there just hasn't been that consistency, right? So ensuring that is basically, like I said, the biggest mover for us is that data, so you can actually see what needs to be improved on or changed or modified. So ultimately, and another big thing here too is the age of this client. That's another big factor, because most women, as they get older, right, going through menopause, you're less active, you're working more, you just don't, you have a lot of things stacked against you. If you have kids, so on and so forth, that is another big issue we see, is most people believe because as you get older, you can't lose weight as fast. But as you can see, like, this client has been super consistent with weight loss. So for her, it's not so much about age, just doing things the correct way, and then having someone keep her accountable to ensure that she's doing everything that is needed to get the results that she's looking for. So no doubt in my mind, just the way the data shows and how consistent she's been. Like I said, she started at 172. She'll probably be close to like that 140 by the time she gets done. Clients with us will lose anywhere from like 10 to 40 pounds typically, or 20, 10 to 40 pounds, based off of like their how compliant they are, right? So that's always a big thing. Like, how accurate are you doing what you need to do? I didn't mean to do that. Are you listening to your coach? If you are someone that follows direction, like, it's a no-brainer for most clients that do. They always see results. If you're someone that doesn't like trust the process, right? That's a big part too. So, oh my goodness, trust the process. You're gonna have a hard time with no matter what program you do. So it doesn't matter what you're trying. If you're someone that like gives up after 3 days, then you're probably not going to see the results you're looking for, right? You see this client has been consistent for over 11 weeks. So for her, came in, what typically we use for clients is we figure out like where their gaps are nutritionally, teach them what needs to be implemented to fill those gaps in. Once those clients implement, usually we see weight loss in the first month. Oh my goodness. I would say probably anywhere close to like that 2 to 5 pound range, sometimes more. So that's usually average what you'll get if you're doing things the correct way. You know, sometimes 5 to 10 pounds on the high end. I've had a client do that in the past. I actually had a handful of people lose close to 40 pounds. So typically, it's just all comes down to that implementation. So if you're like curious on like what that even looks like, right, when it comes to like how much weight you should like really understand that if you're seeing people lose a massive amount all the time, it's not normal. Okay, that's another big thing too. I want people to understand like losing like 20 pounds in a month is like insane. That's way too much, and it's going to be hard to continuously do. So what happens for most people when they lose that much, they lose steam, so to speak, because they feel like they plateaued, but they just lost so much in such a short amount of time. So be, cautious on when it comes to the dropping weight and not overdoing it, because that's another hard part too, right? Is if you cut things down too fast, I always call it the runway. You run out of runway really quick. So that's another big thing to consider when you're losing weight is how much runway are you giving yourself? Are you under eating too much too soon, and now you have nowhere else to go when you lose that first 5 pounds? And that's what we see happen to a lot of people is they cut out everything and there's nowhere else for them to go. So don't do that if that's what you're trying to do this year. I know it's 2026 and weight loss is a big part of the start of the year. So make sure you're doing it in a way that is sustainable. That's what our aim is for all of our clients is something sustainable, something they can maintain, something that teaches them how to eat around their shifts, how to exercise around their shifts, how to do it in a way that they can sustain, teaching them other avenues on what to do in order to get the results that they're looking for. So, and sometimes less is more, right? You see, like she's not doing a ton. She's not doing an hour and a half, 2 hour workouts. It's not something people can do, especially as a nurse. So at the end of the day, making sure you can implement, do things. I've done programs in the past where, again, it was like an hour. It was almost a 2 hour workout. And I was like, there's no way I can keep up with this. Even for me, right? It's, usually now I'm under 45-minute workouts. So it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be something where you feel absolutely drained at the end of it. Let me see if I can find any messages from this client. Hold on. Right. And like someone to actually like listen to you and talk to you. So you can see like right now, one of my coaches in there, I just try to block her name out. But I can't believe how different I look. I have, so much work to do still, but I'm proud of my progress. Like, you know what I mean? We have a whole new software now, so it's like comparing photos for clients. They can see the differences a lot better. It gives them a full breakdown on where the biggest changes are. So clients are getting much better feedback now with our new software too. And that's another thing too, right? Thank you for believing in me. Super important to have that person. So for her, I mean, I think, Janine was someone that got on the call with her. This very well may be the first time she's ever worked in a coaching program and has that person like reaching out, checking in, making sure she's doing the right thing, showing her like how far she's come. And for a lot of people, that is that extra motivational push for them to continue and do things, right? Having someone in their back pocket, having some of them cheer them on, and also believe in them to do what they need to get done. So at the end of the day, right, this client is crushing it. Again, this is something that a lot of people struggle with their shifts. So our job as coaches is to provide that feedback and that support and kind of go through case studies with you guys so you can see that it is possible, because I know a lot of people get discouraged. Maybe you've tried a bunch of stuff in the past. Maybe you've done a bunch of diets. Maybe you've worked with an online coach before, an in-person coach, and you just didn't get what you wanted out of it, which is very common too. Doesn't mean all things are bad, right? It's kind of like dating, right? Imagine if you just went on one bad date and then you'd stop dating forever. Probably get, pretty lonely after a while. Because you'd be like, oh, well, no one's good. Well, I just went on one date. So everyone else must be like that, right? You can't think that way either about looking into programs if that's something you're looking for. So if you are looking for a program and, you're kind of like been stuck, maybe you're very similar to this person who we just went over this case study with, right? You're in your late 40s. Maybe you're working shift work. Maybe you just feel burnout and struggling and you just need direction because your body has changed over the years and you just don't know what to do. Then we are, currently accepting clients for 2026. So you can text coach. Just text the word coach, not just don't write text coach, to 850-905-0772. That will be my business number, where one of my team members will get on and start texting you just to get an idea on where you're at, where you want to get to, where your struggles are. What can we do to help? Can we help you? If so, the next step would be a consultation with myself or Janine. Again, like, the reason we have these steps is for a reason. One, we want to make sure you are ready to do something about what's going on, right? Like this client, you know, I had that oh shit phase in my life where I just want to be stronger and healthier. And she's literally doing all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we kind of have to go through, and just to understand more and figure out where we can help you and what you need. So that's why we always do consultations. So that is something you're interested in. Don't be shy, text that number, so we can kind of help you out and take it from there.